Welcome to Rising Goddess Radio. I'm your hostess, Michelle Torrance. I created Rising Goddess Radio to be a space where we dive deep into our spiritual, emotional, and physical bodies. We're getting real and connecting with ourselves in the most intimate ways. We'll be talking all things sacred sexual, relationship building, and womb healing. We'll be learning how to connect with our bodies through learning the language it speaks, how to use our sexual and sensual energies to create, manifest, and heal our lives. This show is about healing the chaotic feminine and toxic masculine within to create a world that responds to the divine and healthy energy you chose to tune in, tap in, and turn on. We will learn from amazing humans who take time and share their wisdom and sacred healing magic, rising humans who are here in this world to be healers, teachers, guides, priestesses, warriors, and shamans. All divine sisters and brothers in rising. We'll get witchy, sassy, sexy, and saucy. We're going to talk all things that align us with our true nature and authentic selves and create a community that expands with the ascension and growth of each of us. So grab some green juice, light some cannabis, get your blankets, or sit by the pool because we are about to rise up another level together. Catch you on the inside, dolls. Hello, my beautiful rising humans, and welcome to this next episode of Rising Goddess Radio. Today's episode is another solocast, and this is an answer to so many questions that I get. This is really one of the main questions that I get, and so let's dive right in and answer that. So what is that question? What is that question? That question is, what is sexual alchemy? What does sexual alchemy do? What is a sexual alchemist? What does that mean? So before we get into it, make sure you head on over to the Rising Goddess group on Facebook. Come join our community. Also head over to Instagram at the Rising Goddess _. We're growing. We're moving closer to Instagram and we're just diving right in and we're going to be doing a whole lot more there. So continue to start following over there. And then of course, make sure you also follow Michelle Torrance, the Rising Goddess on Facebook, which is, I think it's facebook.com/Rising Goddess Radio or at Rising Goddess Radio. So let's dive in. What is sexual alchemy? Well, let's break this up. So first of all, what is alchemy? Alchemy is the transmutation of energy from one form to another. So, Nicholas Tesla did a lot of alchemy work. He used it through the physical aspect of electricity, which is why I'm so keen on steampunk and why steampunk is really just, I feel like that's just all me. But so what is sexual alchemy, right? So our sexual energy is our creative life force. The creative life force that runs through us is our alignment, our divine spirit, the spark, the light, the energy, all of that. That is our creative life force. We came here as humans to create, right? We came here to co-create with the universe, our higher self. We also came here to co-create with other human beings. So we came here as a society, as people, we came to experience the human experience to create. So what runs through us, what is our divine light and energy and core is our creative life force. Our creative life force is our sexual energy. Let's think about this, right? When we are going to either have sex or we're going to go masturbate, there is an intention that we're wanting. We're wanting to feel good. We're wanting to release, or we're wanting to have fun, or we're wanting to play. Play is a huge part, a necessity for manifesting and creating the world that we want. We came here to play. We came here as electrical, vibrational, spiritual beings to physically express in this world of laws. This is why we have the senses. Our human experience is the game. So we came here to play. And when we are creating something, it comes through our sexual energy. When we are having sex, when we are masturbating, we are creating something that is something new. We are creating a new vibration. We are creating a new feeling. We are creating a new experience, right? And so anytime that we tap into that sexual energy, we have desires that run through, right? All of our desires and everything runs through our sacral chakra. So let's take a minute here and let's kind of step back and take a step to the side, right? And kind of take a turn and look at what this is. Let's look at our chakra system. Me, currently, I focus and work with women on our lower triad, our lower 3 chakra system, which is our root or our base chakra, our sacral chakra, and then our solar plexus chakra. All 3 of these, this is our foundational support to support the higher chakras and the learnings and the connections and the growth and the awarenesses that we experience as we go through and travel through this life. So our sacral chakra is really where all of our desires come through. And no matter what the desire, whether it's a sexual desire, whether it's a work desire, a relationship desire, a money desire, fun desire, a simple desire, or a dramatic, or whatever the case, whatever desire that you have, all of these desires run through and they begin and come through our sacral chakra. So let's think of some things here, right? When we have one area of our chakra centers or one area of our lives has any sort of blockage or resistance, we have that reverberates throughout the rest of our life. And that is reflected in our external world separately, right? A lot of this is really reflected whether in our financial life, our relationships, or the work that we do. And this also can be a part of what, if we have any karmic debt or what any past lives that we didn't learn any sort of lesson on that we have to carry on and carry into this particular life. So when we have any sort of blockage or resistance or shame or any sort of low vibration running through our sexual entity, our sexual vibration, anything that has to do with our sexual awareness, our bodies, because our bodies, we were born into a world where our bodies were solely tied and connected to our sexual vibration. And so, and anything that's tied to our sexual vibration has this shame that runs through it. There's this base shame that runs, which is, of course, the patriarchal, and this is part of the control. And then this is really part of the witch wound and the mother wound that we talk about a lot here on Rising Goddess Radio, and especially in the Rising Goddess group on Facebook. So if there's any sort of shame running through body awareness, body language, any sort of sexual experience, vibrations, thoughts, desires, anything of that nature, it is going to reflect in all of the other areas of our life, right? How we are in one area of our life, we are in all areas of our life. And so if we have shame in any of our areas, because we are in a world of polarities, because we are the yin and the yang, because we are the wave and the ocean, then everything affects everything else. And so when we can go through and connect where we have shame tied around whatever it is, whether it's our vaginas, whether it's our penises, whether it's our breasts, our ass, whether, whether we feel like we're too wet or too dry, or we're not big enough, or we're not long enough or thick enough, or we can't, we orgasm, it takes a long time to orgasm, or we orgasm quickly, or just anything in that relative nature, any sort of trauma experience, any sort of experience where you were vulnerable and then you were made fun of, or anything like that. I mean, my first sexual experience, the time I lost my virginity. Well, let's move this. I'm going to do another episode. I'm going to change that because I've been talking about this for a while and I haven't done it. So this is something I need to do. You hear me snapping away. My guys are like, they're laughing at me right now. They're like, duh, bitch, we've been telling you this shit. Anyways, now I totally lost track of what I was talking about because I started laughing. If you're new to Rising Goddess Radio, this happens quite a bit. I'll get into flow and then I'll start thinking and then I'll lose my train of thought. So anyways, I will be recording an episode on the virginity myth. But, my first sexual experience was very traumatic. He was my boyfriend. It was the summer before my junior year. And It's kind of funny. I mean, I was like so ready to just kind of like throw everything out, and I was like, fuck all of this. I had sex, I got stoned, and I got hella drunk for the first time, all in that same day. On Cisco, no doubt, sitting in the Carl's Jr. over on Sahara and Fort Apache. All my Vegas peeps out there. Anywho. So, my first sexual experience was very traumatic, and, we had sex, we started to have sex, and it started to hurt, and I asked him to slow down, and he wouldn't slow down. He kept going fast. I said, I just want you to stop for a minute. He wouldn't stop. He kept going faster and harder. I kept saying, ow. He just wouldn't listen to me. And then he finished and left. And then I was supposed to go out with him that night. I went out with him that night. We went to go play pool, and his brother and his friends were there. And I was bending over to go ahead and hit the cue ball. And I love pool. Actually, Sean and I want to go play pool. We haven't in a while. But as I was bending over to hit it, all I heard in the background was, oh, ow, 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 stop, ow. So not only was my first sexual experience borderline assault, I'm still kind of working through that, because I feel like my conditioning of what is assault, what isn't, I'm still learning and really trying to break free of the conditioning on that, where maybe I was at fault, and I don't know. So that's me working through that. But, and then I was made fun of, because of that from his friends. So meaning that he like told all of his friends and his brother and everything, obviously, which is what has happened, I mean, growing up, that's what happens, it's so crazy that I bring this up during this episode, because apparently I need to do another layer of forgiveness on this as a part of transmutation process for healing. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that with this episode. But that was a traumatic experience for me. I actually blacked out quite a bit of it, and I didn't start to remember everything until I started practicing sexual alchemy for the healing aspect of it. So let's get back to sexual alchemy, right? When we tie the two together, alchemy is the transmutation of energy or matter from one form to another. And our sexual energy is our creative life force, which is all connected and intertwined. As humans, we have the gift of pleasure during orgasm. We wouldn't have that gift of pleasure if we weren't to tap into it. And so learning how to tap into that pleasure from a healthy standpoint versus the chaotic femme or the toxic masc is really how you can start to transmute shame into empowerment, or transmute the energy and the vibration into actual manifested matter. And manifest the external world and the life that you want. So that's what sexual alchemy is. Sexual alchemy is the transmutation of sexual shame, pain, trauma, and transmutes it into healing powers, or to heal sexual past. And when we heal that, right, when we heal any sort of shame within our vibration, that also reverberates through the rest of our world. And so what that does is we release, we forgive, and we let go. And when we do that, that opens up space. And when we open up space, it can be filled with healthy sexual energy, creation, ideas, instead of continuous cycles of destruction, deprecation, and excuse me, and bullshit, basically, So that's what sexual alchemy is. Now, how do I use sexual alchemy for healing? Well, just like that, what we talked about, just with that experience right there alone, I have done some work around that. But as I continue to rise, and let me share this out there with y'all out there. I mean, if you're in this growth journey, you've decided to wake up to the truth of who you are, as you continue to rise up into higher vibrational fields, as you continue to rise up closer and closer and spiral faster and faster in the dimension and plane and existence that you want to experience, right? This world that you see in your mind, as you continue to rise up higher and higher into the world that you envision that you want to live and the life that you want to have, then the deeper and deeper healing that goes on. And as we get through the layers of the healing that we need to understand that we're not done with healing, because not only are we here healing our own trauma and pain and transmuting all of that, we are actually doing that into the ancient line. This is where the work is being done as we move into the new world, as we rise into the next age, whereas, we are in the Aquarian age, but this is where the work has begun for us to do that. And so this is where, as we continue to awaken closer and closer, become more aligned with the truth of the knowledge of what and who and why we are, then we have the deeper and deeper healing. And so sexual alchemy on the healing aspect is always going to be there, especially if you're with a partner who is going back and forth and you guys are able to connect and bounce off the healing with each other and then magnify that. So how do I use it for healing? I'll go through and I'll do some journaling on this particular experience, right? I'll revisit how I was during that moment. I'll revisit the experience and I'll put myself back into the place, but from the eyes of now, from the paradigm, from the thought process, from the vibration of who I am right now, the awareness of who I am, and see that experience. And then I can forgive the experience. I can forgive me. I can forgive him. And I can be grateful for understanding of what happened, how that happened, why that happened, how it continued to trigger events and experiences that led me to who I am today. And when I can look at that experience from that perspective, when I can align from that experience from that standpoint, then I can really release and I can heal and I can transmute that pain into empowerment. And so therefore now I no longer have any sort of vibration of pain or hurt or shame. Like, I was vulnerable and they made fun of me, because that can transmute that can transfer as you get older, right? Just being vulnerable, especially as a business owner, especially working online right now. I mean, the whole point of business and being able to have this online business and working with you guys is really just me being me and being vulnerable and me showing you that, look, I've been through some shit. I've been through some fucking shit. And I've got some things that may help you. But I'm not going to change who I am, because I'm here to be who I am specifically because that is who you need. And that is who your higher self needs. So, there's so many things that happen in our life that can lead to that, but I digress. Oh, I looked at the clock earlier at 11:11 and now it's 11:22. So anyways, let's move forward. So once that healing has taken place and I've released and forgiven, then I rise up in vibrational frequency. And as I rise up in vibrational frequency, I get closer and or align with desires of what I want to feel. Because remember, as we come through this world, even though this is the tangible world and we're able to, the fun of this is manipulating the tangible effects, right? Creating and manifesting the actual manifestation, right? That's just like as a clay, I feel like a clay maker. That doesn't make sense at all. But as you're like molding clay, right, you're creating this beautiful, amazing art that is from the souls and the vibrations and the reverberations of your being. You know what I'm saying? And you're using your hands and you're getting in there and you're putting all of your effort into it, just like any sort of creation or project that you're doing, right? Like with this, I mean, I put my love into this show, and sometimes I don't show up as well as I should. I've been thinking about that too. I've been working on integrity lately, just an FYI. Fun fact. My last life, I have karmic debt that I'm working on this life. But my last life, I was not responsible, and I abused the freedom of life that I was given. And so this life is working on understanding what freedom means to me. And it's just funny how when I did that reading and stuff like that, I'm just kind of getting, oops, my goodness, I just knocked my whole table there. Probably heard that. It's just super interesting to find out and to really understand and know, like, where some of your like ancient vibrations are still reverberating, just like the universe, right? Do you guys ever watch How the Universe Works? Maybe that's just me, but I geek out on the cosmos. But anyways, just like the universe, right? So the vibrations of the universe, right? They're constantly going. Like when we are seeing a star, right? We're seeing like the light that's reverberating back off of our atmosphere and everything from like back in the day, right? When we're hearing things, right? Like Contact. Oh my gosh, Sean makes fun of me all the time. Do you guys love Contact? I love Contact. I also love Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. But anywho, you guys, this is a great episode, and I just continue to keep getting distracted because that's just how my brain works. But anywho, it's like when we're hearing sounds coming from a time that is from the past. It's still reverberating, right? So any sort of pain or trauma or anything like that that is coming from past lives, whether it's the one right before or previous or even who knows, right? It's still going to be reverberating, as well as the ancient lines throughout our family. See, we choose our family to come through specifically to heal specific pain. I mean, we choose the family we come through. We've chosen our mothers, we've chosen the parents, we've chosen the people in our lives. And I know that that can sound a little like, what the fuck, you know, because sometimes we're thinking like, why did we choose these people to come into our lives? Especially if there's been such intense pain and such intense trauma and so much, you know, shame and hatred and just all of this, you know, bullshit, right? But we chose every single thing, every single person. We didn't choose the outcome, right? We can always continue to change the future. The probabilities are endless, and it's endless possibilities, right? It's just different chains. Whatever choice you make will trigger off a new tributary into whatever outcome you want. And so if you're in this tributary and you don't like the way it's going, boom, you can change and create a whole new tributary, right? Or just like the veins in our lungs, or just like the little twigs on the trees, right? If we don't like that, we can change it, we can do it, but everything reverberates back through. And so the healing that you're doing right now is reverberating back through not only this life, but the past paradigms in this life, the past lives that you have, the ancient family lines that you're doing it out into the cosmos, into the future. So any healing that you're doing right now is setting things up for our children, right? Setting things up for the future humans, for the vibrational alignment of our future generations and the evolution of our species. I mean, come on here. Like, look, like it's 2019, bruh. Like for real. Like I remember, like we're in the future, dude. And I know that we're going to keep saying this and maybe I sound like I'm like aging myself or whatever, but I mean, like this shit is happening, you know? So, you know, anything that we're doing right now, we can change and we can set up for the future. So that's what healing does. So how do you use sexual alchemy for manifesting, right? How does orgasmic manifesting work, right? Orgasmic is my word of the year this year. And let me tell you, it has been happening daily, multiple times a day, actually. Which, fun fact, women are to have 164 orgasms a day, but not all of them are sexual. I'm going to do an episode on that too. 164 orgasms. Holy fuck. The fuck are we to do that? I will tell you. That will be a fun episode. Anywho, so how do we practice orgasmic manifesting, right? How do we tap into our sexual energy and alchemize, right? How do we practice the alchemy? How do we work the magic and transmute the energy of our vision and where our alignment is, and how all of the work that we have been doing and transmute that into actual matter, into our physical life, right? This is where the fun comes in. And understand, before you can even touch orgasmic manifesting and utilize utilizing your sexual alchemy to manifest things, you've got to start working on healing. And I'm going to take this another step further, because ultimately we've all been practicing sexual alchemy. We've all been orgasmically manifesting. We've all been manifesting in our lives. It's just whether or not we've been doing it consciously or unconsciously, right? So this is a time now where, just as when you become aware and you become conscious of something, right? You get curious and you're like, oh, you ask why. Then once you ask why, you start to become conscious of something. So once you start becoming conscious of how sexual energy can actually fuel and create the physical world and heal the bullshit, then you can start to utilize your intention during your sexual practices and really have fun. There's a book called The Magdalene Manuscript, and if you are not familiar with it, Mary Magdalene, if you're not familiar with Mary Magdalene, she was the wife of the man Jesus, and they practiced sexual alchemy all the time. They also had a daughter. They were married. They did this. She was actually chosen specifically for him. And she was trained by the Isis sex priestesses to practice sexual alchemy. So that way, when Jesus came to her and they came together, her practices, her sexual magic was able to fuel the light, the energy, the Ka body, right? Our Ka body is our energetic body. And so Mary Magdalene was able to enhance and fuel and light and empower and surge the Ka body that runs through Jesus. And what that did was that was prepared him for when he did die, and he was a light, one of the lights that was going through. But we all have that Jesus. We all have that Christ consciousness. That's how understanding where all of the magic and the senses and our energy and the vibrations and the connections and the awarenesses and the questions, all of that stuff is the Christ consciousness that we have. So sexual alchemy has been around for thousands and thousands of years. This has been around from the Isis priestesses. And this has been something that has been utilized not only for the human world here on Earth, but also as the transmutation from human into energetic, back into energetic as we die and leave this dimension. So that is like a little history on sexual alchemy, but the Magdalene Manuscript really talks about this. And this is when I started reading that book. That is really when I realized, like, oh my gosh, I'm actually a Magdalene, because I read Rise, Sister Rise first. First of all, if you haven't read Rise, Sister Rise by Rebecca Campbell, I'd love to have her on the show. If anybody's listening to this and you would like to put that intention out there with me, I am open and receiving and magnifying that intention. But I would love Rebecca Campbell to be on the show. But I read that, and then I got the Magdalene Manuscript. I started reading it and I couldn't understand it. Like, I was reading it and it was like almost like reading, I don't know, like a book, like in a foreign language. I couldn't even understand it. So then I put it away. I read Rise, Sister Rise again, and I really started to allow myself. This is when I started to allow myself to realize that I am a witch. I am here to really practice ritual. I am psychic. I am a medium. I have clairvoyance. I clairaudient. I have all of this stuff. I mean, I'm a Scorpio for a fucking reason. I'm a Pisces rising for a fucking reason. I'm a Virgo moon for a fucking reason. I mean, come on. It all makes sense. I mean, my astrological makeup and numerological makeup is there specifically. I chose that specific makeup so I could create this world to not only manifest and flourish, but to heal past lives and create new opportunities for the future, right? And so anyways, I realized that I am a witch, and I accepted that I was a witch. I started to step into and embody what felt like witchy to me, which was basically listening to my intuition more, right? Listening to my body's responses. And then I read the book again. I started to read the book again, and I could actually understand it. And this time I read the book all the way through, and I fully understood it. And that's when I also realized that, oh my gosh, this is an ancient lineage that I am a part of. I have the Magdalene energy running through me. I am part of that particular sisterhood community. I am part of that goddess tribe, that feminine archetype. And I'm here in the world right now to heal this witch wound through sexual alchemy, because we were given the gift of pleasure through sex for a reason. And when we tap into that intentionally, just like with anything, then we can manifest an amazing life. So orgasmic manifesting, how to do it. Do it with your partner, do it with yourself. You don't have to be with a partner to practice orgasmic manifesting. Masturbation is something I teach women all the time. I give visualization and an intention, masturbation ritual, homework and practices and tools. And these are things where we can do independently, which is really how it can be done. When we do it with a partner, we're really just taking our magnified sexual energy and magic and their magnified sexual alchemy and magic, and we're putting it together to magnify our shared desires and results that we want to manifest together. And so, just like, two heads are better than one, two orgasms are better than one, especially with shared intentions. And just like you hear it all the time, where your focus goes, your energy flows, right? So when you intention your orgasmic energy to manifest and transmute and ground into this world, what it is that you desire, how you want to feel, whether it's, magical, mystical, powerful, abundant, wealthy, rich, fierce, feminine, whatever you feel, you tap into that feeling and hold a vision in your head as to what you feel would look like having that, and you ground and you hold that and feel that as you peak. And when you do that, you are intentionalizing that energy to a specific place. Now we go deeper, and in my classes, I go deeper into how do you actually visualize that, shooting that through your different chakra systems and all of that. So that is how you can orgasmically manifest, and it's fun. And you can add it to other manifesting practices and tools that you're using to work through. I know there's so many different like money coaches and spiritual coaches as well out there who have different tools that you can tap into. So when you add that into it, not only are you supporting and continuously practicing, which practice is how we do it. Life is a practice every single day. It's a daily sacred practice. But you get to have fun, which is why we came here. And you get to magnify the vibration and the energy because it instantly aligns you. When we are at the height of orgasm, when we are peaking, we have zero resistance. Absolutely zero resistance. So in that peak of orgasm, you can call in anything you desire right then. And if you can keep yourself in a meditative, intentionalized state during orgasm, or have that intention prior to going into your experience, especially if you're talking with your partner and you and your partner do this at the same time and together, and you both have that intention, when you are both at that height and you call that in, man, that is so quick. That's how it happens rapidly. So that's where orgasmic manifesting is super fun, and it takes practice. So that's even more fun, right? Who doesn't enjoy practicing masturbation or sex, right? I love it. I love all of it together. I love talking about it. I love giving homework about it. I love it when women message me and they said, I orgasmed for the first time in a long time last night, or, hey, I masturbated last night and this is so great. And this is what I realized. And this is what I healed, because you can heal as well through masturbation. It's not, and this is where it takes a lot of sexual healing work, because masturbation is something that so many of us have shame around. And so when you can remove the shame and you can forgive and release and start to transmute that shame about masturbation into empowerment, man, that's when things start to really have fun. So that is sexual alchemy. And what do I do as a sexual alchemist? I practice my life, teach and live my purpose, sharing and helping women tap into their sexual alchemy. I live what I teach. And so as an alchemist, I transmute everything. I am a mathematician. I am a numerologist. I am a psychic. I am a medium. I am aligned. I have all of these different titles that you want to put on to that, whatever else you want to call that. I am me. And a sexual alchemist is I tap into magic through my sexual energy, and I create a world for myself that is of all the desires that I desire to feel. Woo, deja vu. Yes. Fuck yes. I've been having a lot of deja vu lately. So on that note, let's end this episode. If you haven't yet, head on over to the Rising Goddess group on Facebook. Come join our community. We would love to have you. It's a non-judgmental safe zone. It is for women only. Men, I have had a lot more men reach out to me in the healthy masculine way. So I am working on a group. I'm going to get that going, and I'm going to have it offered so that way it can be both men and women. So we could have open communication, learn how to have conversations, connect, and be a space and a supportive container, a non-judgmental safe zone for men to tap into their feminine flow, to start to heal the toxic masculinity that is running through them, so they too, you too, can rise up into your healthy masculine. So on that note, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you have any questions or anything like that, definitely reach out. Head over there, follow me on Instagram, head over to my YouTube channel. Make sure you're downloading this episode, rate and review, share with all your friends and family. Let's wake people up through sex and have fun doing it. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Later.